Gun toting, barefoot dancing Houthis have finally surrendered. They were like, no, man, we don't want this no more. We can't take it no more. This is according to what President Donald Trump said this morning in meeting with the Canadian president. All right, let me give you the news. Welcome to Bamboo Street. I'm Volta. Welcome one, welcome all. So there was a breaking news this morning, but I forgot to cover it because I had a lot to do. Apparently, the Houthis have finally came to their senses. They realize Iran is never going to back them in this war against the international shipping lane because they are also negotiating their own deal with the U.S. So, according to incredible sources or credible sources, I might say, Iran actually pressured the Houthis to negotiate this ceasefire deal with the U.S. Let me give you the breaking from Reuters. A ceasefire deal between Yemen's Houthis and the U.S. does not include sparing Israel, the group said on Wednesday, suggesting its shipping attacks have been disrupted. No, let me read that again. Suggesting shipping attacks that have disrupted global trade and challenged world powers to not come to a complete halt. President Donald Trump announced on Tuesday the U.S. will not the U.S. will, the U.S. will stop bombing the Iran-aligned Houthis in Yemen, saying that the group had agreed to stop attacking U.S. ships. This is a conflicting report. After Trump made the announcement, Oman said it had mediated a ceasefire deal to halt attacks on U.S. vessels. There have been no reports of Houthi attacks on shipping in the Red Sea area since January. The agreement does not include Israel in any way, shape, or form, Mohammed Abdul Salam, the chief Houthi negotiator, told Reuters. This is really fascinating. So Israel is going to go into this escalation alone. I think by all imagination, Houthis are going to retaliate against Israel for attacking the Sana port, the airport, and the seaport, I might suggest. So Israel is not happy about they not being involved in the deal, right? So, which is really fascinating because Benjamin Netanyahu was actually waiting on that. Trump just, put him to the backside. So, this is a very good news for the shipping lane, and at the same time, very bad news for Israel. Israel would have to go uh, into this war or this escalation with the Houthis alone. I think they can take care of themselves. They are big boys. And Iran, on the other hand, I don't think Iran is going to supply them with these missiles and these munitions anymore because they also want to secure their own trade, their own deal with Donald Trump before the Trump changes his mind, right? So that's the breaking news. This morning also, Pakistan was attacked by India. India fired multiple rockets into Pakistan, and apparently multiple deaths have been confirmed. Hold on, let me give you the news from Al Jazeera. So India and Pakistan exchanged fire across the line of control between Indian and Pakistan administered Kashmir after Indian launched Operation Sindoor. Pakistan says India's missile attacks on Punjab province and Pakistan administered Kashmir killed at least 26 people and wounded dozens. Indian officials say at least 10 have been killed and more wounded in India administered Kashmir due to Pakistan fire. This is getting out of control because these are two nuclear armed countries just playing with fire and global peace. Somebody has to call them both together and de-escalate these issues. Um, Germany calls for responsible action. Japan, on the other hand, wants a further escalation. German's foreign office has issued a statement on X calling for calm as tension between India and Pakistan continue to escalate. following the horrific terrorist attack in Kashmir and the Indian military response to it. Responsible action from both countries is urgently needed, the State Department reads. Escalation must be prevented and civilians protected. So, nuclear exchange between India and Pakistan will obviously cause millions of immediate deaths. This is from the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, ICAN. So, hopefully, Pakistan and India come to their senses, come to the negotiating table. Pakistan actually overplayed their hand. The first thing they were supposed to do as a responsible country is to call out the attack. They were like, oh, even though India might think the perpetrators came from our territory, we condemn terrorism in any form or structure, right? This is what the Pakistani foreign ministry should have said. But they were like, okay, we investigate. Everybody knew the attackers came from Pakistan. So there's no need for you to investigate. To de-escalate, to de-escalate this issue, the most simplest and urgent thing to do was to be like, hey, we condemn this attack. And then you investigate later, you know. By the way, I don't know. They overplay their hand trying to uh, uh, coerce India into thinking, oh, we're going to do our own investigation. And here we are now. So hopefully these two countries, I think they've tasted blood, so I think they want more. And responsible brains needs to come to the table and just let this thing go away, man. We don't want India firing nuclear weapon into Pakistan and Pakistan retaliating and getting the whole world involved in their mess. This is too simple an issue to go to war over. Even though a lot of people have already died. But I pray they come to their senses and stop this nonsense. And Turkey also condemns India attack, says it created risks of all-out war. Turkey's foreign ministry has denounced India's overnight attacks on Pakistan, claiming they targeted civilians and civilian infrastructure. In a statement, the ministry warned the provocative steps have opened the door to an all-out war. It also called on parties to act sensibly and said it hopes steps will be taken to reduce tension as soon as possible. India, on the other hand, has canceled all 165 flights. This was 45 minutes ago. Indigo, India's leading airline, has announced it has called off 165 flights from 11 locations due to the clashes. The canceled flights include those scheduled in Srinagar, the capital of India and administered Kashmir. Indigo, which operates more than 2,200 flights a day, flights daily, is among the worst affected airlines due to the flare-up in violence, with each share dropping as much as 3.1%. So Qatar's foreign ministry holds phone call with India's foreign ministry. Qatar's prime minister holds phone call with India's foreign minister. Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdurrahman bin Shazin Al Thani has spoken with India's foreign minister Subrahmanyam Jaishankar and expressed Doha's concern about the mounting tension with Pakistan. Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said on X that Sheikh Mohammed, who is the Gulf State's prime minister and foreign minister, reaffirmed Doha's commitment to find a concerted solution through dialogue and peaceful means. All right, so those are the news. Trump is just crazy. Donald Trump is like, India and Pakistan have been fighting for generations, for decades, more than 100 years. Trump is crazy. Trump has no knowledge of history. He said India and Pakistan have been fighting for what? For thousands of years. I'm like, President Trump, just shut up. You don't know, you don't know. You don't have to force facts on us. You don't know. You know, the land was created by the Brits. Trump is like, they've been fighting for decades or more than centuries or hundreds of years. Anyway, that's the news. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna try to, you know, be doing this short breaking news. Get the views up. It's starting is gonna be a little hard, but hey, I think we'll get it. Thank you all for joining. Even though there's nobody here, but hey, you got to try somehow, right? So take care. Bye bye. Let me do it.